A friend of mine living in the same block joined the Marines about 2 or 3 months before I did. And he sent me a letter from San Diego. And he told me about the wonderful trip he had from Milwaukee to Chicago. At Chicago, he got on a Pullman train. He had a Pullman berth. He ate 3 meals in the dining car. And it took him 3 days on that train to get to LA, and then from LA, and he went to San Diego. And he wrote me about this wonderful trip. And I had never left Wisconsin, so that appealed to me. And that letter was the reason I joined the Marine Corps.
Then you go to basic in San Diego?
Yes, and I had the same trip and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I never left Milwaukee. Can you imagine having a Pullman berth in a Pullman car, eating 3 meals a day in a dining car, watching the gorgeous scenery? It was great. I really loved it.
But then you get off the train and you're in camp, and it's pretty tough, I bet.
That's right. Boot camp was a little different.
Was it tough? What kind of stuff were you doing?
It was not too difficult. You know, I was quite athletic, and I learned a lot of lessons in boot camp. I learned to be organized. I learned to be self-disciplined. I learned neatness and I learned order. And those are the characteristics that I still follow to this day. After boot camp, there were about 60 men in our platoon, and most of them went to Camp Pendleton for Fleet Marine Force for the invasion. And only 1 or 2 of us did not go. They sent me to Chicago. I went to Wright Junior College in Chicago, Illinois. And I was in they wanted me to be an electronic engineer, electronic technician. So the summer of '43, I was at Wright Junior College, which was very nice because I could come home every weekend for liberty. In September, we were transferred to the Naval Research Lab in Anacostia, Virginia, in Washington, D.C. And we were there for a whole year, from September of '43 to May of '44. It was a very organized school. We learned all kinds of equipment. In fact, one of the things we had to do would be to make our own radio. And it actually worked. And then we studied all electronic equipment. At that time, radar was very new, and it was very secretive. When we study radar, we would have to, when we complete our class, a Marine would come and pick up our notebooks. And when we resumed classes the next day, he would bring them to us, and then we would put our notes in the book, and he would take them away. It was that secret. Well, anyway, when I graduated from that school, I was in the Marine Aviation, and they assigned me to a fighter squadron. My duty was to keep all the equipment, communication equipment, running properly. And I was in the fighter squadron. We went from Cherry Point to Columbia, South Carolina. Then we began to work our way across the country because we were scheduled for the invasion. We went to Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, from Walnut Ridge, Arkansas to San Diego, from San Diego to the Marshall Islands. When we were on the Marshall Islands, they dropped the atomic bomb. So we went on to Guam, and then we started going back.
Okay.
So I was in the Marine Corps for 3 years, and I never saw any combat.
How did it feel to be on the cutting edge of technology? Was that kind of exciting? I mean, you had this top secret stuff?
It was very exciting. Most of the people in that class went on to continue their electrical engineering work. But I was more interested in liberal arts, literature, and English. I wanted to be a lawyer, and I didn't want to be an engineer.
Were you proud to have served? I mean, to have been there, you answered the call, you went in, you volunteered.
I was very proud, and I'm very grateful to the Marine Corps because anything that happened in my life that was good, I can trace to the Marine Corps. And it afforded me an opportunity to go to college and go to law school. And when I finished law school, I came back, took the bar examination. I had some money left over, and I decided to make the grand tour of Europe. Well, it was in August of 1952 when I got on aboard a ship in New York City going for England. And on this ship, I met this lovely girl, and she turned out to be my wife. And she was a New Yorker, but she wanted to come back with me to Milwaukee. So she did come back. We got married, and we came back to Milwaukee, and I continued to practice law. And we've been married now for 56 years, and we're living together in the Catholic home. So anything that was good in my life, I can trace back to my tour of duty in the Marine Corps.